Kevin, the floor is yours. What is your main takeaway from the Raiders defeating the Colts this past weekend?
So I'm just gonna be straight up. I've already let out most of my frustration. The second the field goal went in, I literally called Kyle. Mind you, the man is working, so I do apologize for yelling at the top of my lungs in this man's ear to the point where I thought he was gonna go deaf. Also, I apologize to my neighbors in my apartment complex because I could not stop yelling. So I'm just looking at this game and I'm saying 100% winnable, 100% attainable. It was something within our grasp. The defense did what it needed to do on multiple occasions. The offense was incapable of putting out consistency. As I've stated all year, it solely falls on the play calling of Frank Reich. I've said this countless times where I say the play calling needs to be stripped. He needs to stop giving too much leeway to Carson Wentz. He needs to understand that an MVP candidate, now a franchise all-time leading rusher in a single season, and from scrimmage yards, like he's the youngest player in NFL history to have over 2,000 rushing or 2,000 total all-purpose yards and over 20 touchdowns, and that's Jonathan Taylor. So he's not only breaking individual records, he's breaking NFL history records. But for whatever reason, Frank Reich seems to forget that he's in our backfield. So I'm looking at this game and I'm saying, technically, we should have lost this game by 10 points because Carson Wentz got lucky and threw a 50-yard Hail Mary off of 1 foot into double coverage that fell into T.Y. Hilton's hands. But once again, I'll get into that in just a second. I'm trying to keep this rant relatively low, or should I say relatively short. We had this game right when we went into the half. We had all the momentum. We had the ball going into the half or coming out of the half. Jonathan Taylor was on pace for another 100-yard game. Obviously, up to today, before today ended, we were 9-0 when Jonathan Taylor had a game over 100 yards rushing. And it looked like, for the most part, that was going to continue to follow suit. Now, for those of you that are unaware, the circumstances behind this game was Carson Wentz had tested positive for COVID-19, I believe, on Tuesday, if not Monday. And now with the new CDC and NFL guidelines, you just need to go 5 days and you can return to your team pending, I believe, asymptomatic and or at least broken your fever. So again, I don't understand how that works. I'm not going to get into my COVID-19 beliefs and how crazy that is. But Carson Wentz was not asymptomatic. Carson Wentz had symptoms when he tested positive. So my quarterback had no reps all week. My quarterback had no practice. He took mental reps. He was watching film. Cool beans. He doesn't feel good. Probably drugged up, given ibuprofen, whatever they can afford to kind of break the fever or whatever symptoms he was feeling, for the cough or whatever. But still, no practice, looked like shit in warm-ups, and he just has not had a week to be fully prepared. Backup left tackle, Matt Pryor. Eric Fisher was out with a bunch of different injuries. Matt Pryor did great, so no fault of his own. Braden Smith, also coming off of the COVID list after 5 days. He actually let up a couple of rushes and pressures on Carson this week. He got blown up a couple of times today and had 2 false starts. I believe actually a false start and a hold or 2 holds. He had 2 big penalties that negated 2 big penalties. So I'm just going down the list of things that kind of, you guys need to be aware of in this particular instance. So as I start getting further, my anger is going to start to get higher, I guess. So at this point, I'm looking at specifically the fourth quarter. I'm just going to skip all the way to the end. Baltimore. Vegas obviously goes down the field. They score a touchdown. Hunter Renfrow needs to be respected in this league because he is a number 1 receiver. He's not the Devontae Adams. He's not a Julio Jones. By no means is he anybody crazy. But him and Cooper Kupp need to be respected because this man, Hunter Renfrow, was basically always open, and we have one of the better secondaries in the league when healthy. And a Pro Bowler in Kenny Moore guarded him multiple times in our zone, and he got blown up. Like Kenny Moore has not been embarrassed all season, if not at many times. He was blown up 3 or 4 times. Hunter Renfrow by himself. Hunter just blew past him and ran beautiful routes. So again, huge kudos to Hunter Renfrow. Very, very underrated. Also the guy that killed us for the touchdown at the end of the game. So, well, it got called back, but still, neither here nor there. I have the actual play-by-play in that fourth quarter of our last drive to where we scored a field goal to tie the game. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, it's 1st and 10. Jonathan Taylor just got us a first down off of a check down 6-yard dump off. It's first down. We run the ball for 1 yard. 2nd and 9. Frank Reich dials up some stupid wide receiver bubble screen. Mind you, we are at Vegas's 26-yard line. Jonathan Taylor has well over 100 yards at this point. It is the fourth quarter. We are trying to score. We are trying to take the lead, if not tie the game. But Frank Reich tries to get fancy, and he throws a bubble screen to Nyheim Hines, in which what did he get here? No yards. It was actually for no gain. It's 3rd and 9. Once again, instead of running the ball or doing something creative with our playmaker to get Jonathan involved, Jonathan's not even on the field. Nyheim Hines gets a dump off because we have no pass protection, and that gains 3 yards. So we kick a field goal. It's instances like this where we consistently throw the football in which we put ourselves in a negative situation to where we take our opportunity away. Carson Wentz had 27 pass attempts today. Jonathan Taylor had 20 rushing attempts. Tell me where on earth that makes sense that our quarterback, who still currently has COVID-19, who has no practice reps, throws the ball almost 30 times. Jonathan Taylor averaged 5.4 yards per carry throughout the entirety of a 4-quarter NFL football game, in which is 60 minutes. And I understand we didn't have the ball for 60 minutes, but when you're averaging over 5 yards per carry, tell me why on the last drive you don't get almost every single touch when they cannot stop you. Why does my quarterback, who has been off all game long, who missed multiple receivers, Zach Haskell on a high throw, T.Y. Hilton on a wide open throw, Michael Pittman on a low pass, a couple of passes that our receivers had to save because they had to go down and get it, in which immobilized them completely from moving the yards further or moving the chains further. I don't understand. In my mind, none of the play calls in that fourth quarter made any sense. There were some instances and some flashes where Frank made some beautiful calls on an RPO. Carson pulls down, runs for a first down on 3rd and 6. Great. 4th down, QB sneak, get behind the best offensive line of football. Absolutely amazing. And then you go in this fourth quarter and you try to get fancy and cute. This isn't fucking Oregon in 2014 with Chip Kelly and Marcus Mariota. The fact that we're running as many bubble screens as we do as the Colts makes no sense. Do we have great blocking wide receivers? Absolutely. Do we have 2 great tight ends? Yes. And playmaking running backs? Absolutely. It is literally 2nd and 9, and Jonathan Taylor is eating. He was stopped for a gain of 1 yard the play before. We need the clock to continue to drain. We have 3 timeouts, and you get fancy. Frank Reich has single-handedly kept us from winning football games all season long. Carson Wentz was not Carson Wentz. And I'm going to take a bold take here and say he shouldn't have even fucking played. You can tell from the start he was not comfortable. He started 1 of 7. Then right before the half, he goes down and drives us down the field, and we score a touchdown. He looked great. Coming out of the half, outside of that play, of that luck, which again, SportsCenter and all these media outlets are saying it's better to be lucky than to be talented. I don't give a fuck. Because if that was an interception, it's a whole different category. It's a whole different discussion. Carson escapes on the pressure, and he rolls out to the right. He's got about 5 yards in front of him. Get forward, run out of bounds, slide, make it productive. Because if you throw an interception into double coverage off of 1 foot, fading off to the side, great arm strength. It looked beautiful. 2 Raiders right there. Why is that thrown? I give Carson no pass. I give Frank Reich no passes. The defense did everything it needed to. Almost had 3 interceptions, had 2. Darius Leonard forces a fumble on the sideline to where the ball falls out of bounds. So it was a lucky roll for the Raiders. So technically, we should have had 4 turnovers today, and we lost this game by, to me, once again, I know it was 3 points. It should have been 10 points. The Colts did not show up. The Colts were not the Colts of the last couple of weeks. I didn't think we were going to beat the fucking Patriots. I was skeptical about the Cardinals. I thought that this was a for sure game that we overcame all the deficits that we did last week with COVID-19 and injuries, and this is what comes about. An embarrassing loss at home because, once again, Frank Reich cannot be impartial to Carson Wentz. I would have rathered a rookie quarterback and Sam Ehlinger be in this game and hand the ball off 35 times to Jonathan Taylor. They couldn't stop it. What did we need Carson to throw it 27 times for? Why did we need to get fancy and throw a bubble screen? It's under 4 minutes. Run the fucking football. The worst that happens, you gain 5 fucking yards, which is what he's been doing all game. And instead of 3rd and 9, it's goddamn 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Our average yards to gain on 3rd down was over 7 yards. We completed under 40% of our 3rd down conversions all day today. We couldn't convert. We couldn't do anything. We found a way to sack the quarterback. We found a way to fucking get interceptions and force turnovers. You find a way to get a lot of pass breakups and make life a living hell for Derek Carr. Hell, Derek Carr looked under average or below average all game today because we were able to make his life hell. But we don't capitalize. We lose this game. And now, once again, we are in a win and get in situation, thankfully, because of the way the AFC has fallen. But that's because, again, of outlier circumstances, not because of us. If we make the playoffs, we're a first-round exit. Doesn't even matter. That's how mad I am. Like, if we would have won this game, we would have been surging. We would have been on a 3 or 4 game win streak. We would have been beating great teams, competitive teams, the motivation. We would have overcome everything. No. Frank Reich needs to be removed of all play calling opportunities. I'm not going to continue to repeat myself. He literally, number 28 from Wisconsin, the best player arguably in the league when it comes to running the football. And you're going to tell me you only gave him 20 touches in a game in which you led into the fourth quarter. There's no reason for 20 touches, bro. 5.4 yards per. I don't get it. I told you this personally, and I told you when we recorded on Thursday. I wouldn't be surprised Frank fucks it up. I don't trust him. I can't trust him.